This feels good. Come to the fire, ladies.
I'm not cold.
Now, Mr. Hale, before we start moving things about, please explain to Mr. Henderson just what you saw when he came here yesterday morning.
By the way, has anything been moved or are things as you left me yesterday?
Just the same. When it dropped below zero last night, I thought I'd better send Frank out to make a fire for us. Now he's getting pneumonia with a big case on, and I told Frank just to touch the stove, and you know Frank.
Somebody should have been left here yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. I had to send Frank to Morris Center for the man who went crazy. I want you to know I had my hands full yesterday, and I know you could get back from Omaha by today, and as long as I went over everything here myself.
Well, Mr. Hale, tell us now. What happened when you got to the house yesterday morning?
It all started with me inviting Mr. Wright a party telephone line.
Hi, Mr. Wright. I was wondering, you want to go to a party telephone line later? Me, you, Harry?
No, thank you. People talk too much anyways as it is. All I want is some peace and quiet.
The next day, Harry and I started to town with a load of potatoes. We came along the road to my place, and as I got here, I said,
I'm going to see if I can get John Wright to go on a party telephone line with me. He put me off earlier, but I think if I confront him in front of his wife.
I don't think if what his wife wanted would make much of a difference to John.
That is true.
Let's talk about that later, Mr. Hale. I do want to talk about that, but tell now, just what happened when you got to the house.
I didn't hear or see anything. I knocked at the door, and still, it was all quiet inside. I knew they must be up. It was past 8 o'clock, so I knocked again, and I thought I heard somebody say, "Come in."
I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure. But I entered from this door. And sitting in this rocker sat Mrs. Wright.
And what was she doing?
She was rocking back and forth, and she had her apron in her hand, kind of pleating it.
And how did she look?
She looked queer.
Well, how do you mean queer?
Well, as if she didn't know what she was going to do, and kind of done up.
How did she seem to feel about your coming?
Wow, I don't think she minded one way or another. She didn't pay much attention.
How do, Mrs. Wright? Called Anna.
Is it?
I came to see John. Can't I see John?
No,
Why not?
because he's dead.
Dead? And where is he? Wow, what did he die of?
A rope around his neck.
Harry! He's dead!
Who's that?
Come on!
I think I'd rather have you go into that upstairs where you can point everything out. Now go on now with just the rest of your story.
We need to get that rope off around his neck.
No, he's there all right. We better not touch anything.
Has anybody been notified?
No,
Who did this, Mrs. Wright?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Why weren't you sleeping in the bed with him?
Yes, but I was only inside.
Someone slipped a rope around his neck and choked him. You didn't wake up.
No, I didn't wake up. I sleep sound.
Maybe we ought to let her tell her story first, to a coroner, or the sheriff. I came to see if John wanted to put in a telephone line. Soon Harry got back, and then Dr. Lloyd, and you, Mr. Peters, and I guess that's all I know that you don't.
Well, I guess we'll go upstairs first, and out to the barn and around there. You sure there's nothing here that would point to any motive?
Nothing here but kitchen things.
Here's a nice miss.
Oh, her fruit. It did freeze. She worried about that when the weather turned so cold. She said the fire would go out and her jars would break.
Well, you can beat the women. Held for murder and worrying about preserves.
Well, I guess before we're through here, she may have something more serious to worry about than preserves.
Well, women are used to worrying over trifles.
And yet, for all their worries, what would we do without the ladies? Dirty towels. Not much of a housekeeper, would you say, ladies?
There's a great deal of work to be done on a farm.
To be sure, and yet know that there are some Dixon country house farms with such roller towels.
Those towels get dirty awful quick. Men's hands aren't as clean as they might be.
Ah, loyal to your sex, I see. You and Miss Wright were friends. I suppose you were neighbors, too.
I've not seen much of her late years. I've not been in this house. It's more than a year.
What was that? You didn't like her?
I liked her all well enough. Farmers' wives have their hands full, Mr. Henderson. And then,
Yes?
never seemed a very cheerful place.
No, it's not cheerful. I shouldn't say she had the homemaking instinct.
Well, I don't know as Wright had either.
Why, they didn't get on very well?
No, I don't mean anything, but I don't think the place would be any cheerful with John Wright's being in it.
I do want to talk of that a little later, Mrs. Hale. I want to get the layout of things upstairs now.
I suppose anything Mrs. Peters takes in will be alright. She was to take in some small things and clothes for her. We left in such a hurry yesterday.
I want to keep an eye out of what Miss Peters takes. If you see anything that may be of use to us, tell us.
Yes, Mr. Henderson.
I hate to have men coming into my kitchen, snooping around and criticizing.
Well, of course it's no more than their duty.
Duty's alright, but I guess that deputy sheriff that came down to make the fire might have gotten a little of this on. Wish I'd thought of that sooner. It seems mean to talk about her not having things slicked up when they had to take her away in such a hurry.
She had bread set.
Oh, she was going to put this in there. It's a shame about her fruit. I wonder if it's all gone. I think there's some that's here that's alright, Mrs. Peters. Yes, here. I declare that's the only one. She'll feel awful bad after all her hard work in the hot weather. I remember the afternoon I put up my cherries last summer.
Well, I must get those things from the back room closet. You coming, Mrs. Hale? You can help me carry them. My, it's cold in there.
Right with clothes. I think that's why she kept so much to herself. She didn't even belong to a ladies' aid. I suppose she felt she couldn't do her part. And then you don't enjoy things when you feel shabby. I heard she used to wear pretty clothes and be lively when she was Minnie Foster, one of the town girls singing in the choir. But that was 30 years ago. This all you was to take in?
She said she wanted an apron. Funny thing to want, because there isn't much to get you dirty in jail, goodness knows. She said it hung behind the door. Here it is.
Mrs. Peters,
Yes, Mrs. Hale?
do you think she did it?
I don't know.
I don't think she did. Asking for an apron and her little shawl, worrying about her fruit.
Mr. Pierce says it looks bad for her. Mr. Henderson is awful sarcastic in his speech, and he'll make fun of her saying she didn't wake up.
Well, I guess John Wright didn't wake up when they were slipping that rope under his neck.
Yes, it's strange, isn't it? It must have been done awful crafty, and still, it was such a fine way to kill a man, rigging it all up like that.
That's just what Mr. Hale said. He says there was a gun in the house. That's what he can't understand.
Mr. Henderson said coming out, what was needed for a case was motive. Something to prove sudden anger or feeling.
Well, I don't see any signs of anger around here. Wonder how it's going on upstairs. I hope she had a little more red up there. You know, it seems kind of sneaking, locking her up in town and bringing her out in such a hurry.
But Mrs. Hale, the law is the law. She was piecing a quilt.
Pretty, isn't it? I wonder if she's going to quilt it or just knot it.
They wondered if she was going to quilt it or just not it.
Well, Frank's fire didn't do much last night. Let's go out to the barn and get all that cleared up.
I don't know if there's anything so strange. Our taking up our time with little things while they're trying to find the evidence. I don't see anything to laugh about.
Of course, they've got awful important things on their minds.
Mrs. Peters, look at this one. This is the one she was working on. It's all messed up. It's like she didn't know what she was about.
What are you doing, Mrs. Hale?
Just pulling out a stitch or two that's not even. Bad sewing always made me fidgety.
I don't think we ought to touch things.
I'm just pulling out this last stitch. Mrs. Peters,
Yes, Mrs. Hale?
what do you suppose she was so nervous about?
I don't know if she was nervous. I sometimes so awful queer when I'm just tired. Well, I must get these things rubbed up. Where do you think I could find a piece of paper and some string?
In that cupboard, maybe.
It's a bird cage. Did she ever have a bird, Mrs. Hale?
Well, I don't know if she did or not. I know there was a man selling canaries cheap last year, but I don't know if she took one. Maybe she did. She used to sing real pretty herself.
She must have had a bird, or why else would she have a cage?
Maybe the cat got it.
No, she didn't have a cat. She has the feeling some people have about cats, being afraid of them. My cat got into her room and she got real scared and told me to take it out.
My sister Bessie was like that. Queer, ain't it?
Well, look at this door. It's broke. One hinge is pulled apart.
Looks as if someone must have been rough with it.
Why, yes.
I wish if they were going to find any evidence, they'd be about it. I don't like this place.
It would be lonesome sitting here all by myself.
It would, wouldn't it? But I tell you what, Mrs. Peters, I wish I'd come over sometimes when she was here. I wish I had.
But Mrs. Hill, you were busy with the farm and your children.
I could have come, but I didn't. I stayed away because I didn't like this place. I don't know. I guess I don't like it because it's down in a hollow and you can't see the road. I wish I'd come over to see Minnie Foster. I wish I did.
You mustn't reproach yourself, Mrs. Hale. Sometimes you can't see how it is with other folks until something comes up.
Not having children makes less work in a quiet house, but right out to work all day and then coming in no company. Did you know John Wright, Mrs. Peters?
No, I didn't know him. They say it was a good man.
Yes, a good man. He paid his debts and he didn't drink. But he was a hard man, just to pass the day with him, like a raw wind that gets to the bone. I would have supposed she wanted a bird, but what do you think went with it?
I don't know, unless it got sick and died.
You weren't raised around here, were you, Mrs. Peters? You didn't know her?
No, not until they brought her in yesterday.
Come to think of it, she was like a bird herself, real pretty and sweet, but kind of timid and fluttery. How she did change. Tell you what, Mrs. Peters, why don't you take the quilt in with her? It might take up her mind.
Why, that's a mighty nice idea, Mrs. Taylor.
Here's some sewing things. Oh, what a pretty box. Looks like something someone would give you. Maybe her sisters are in here. My, there's something wrapped in here.
This isn't her scissors.
It's
the bird.
Oh, Mrs. Peters, look at his neck. Look at his neck. The whole other side, too. Just look.
Somebody wrung its neck.
Well, ladies, have you decided whether she's going to quilt it or not it?
We think she was going to knot it.
That's interesting, I'm sure. Has the bird flown?
We think the cat got it.
Is there a cat?
Well, not now. They're superstitious, you know. They leave.
No sign of anyone having come from outside. Their own road. Let's go upstairs and go over it piece by piece. It had to have been somebody who knew just the name.
She liked that bird. She was gonna bury it in that pretty box.
There was a girl, a kitten, there was a boy, took a hatchet before my eyes before he could get there. If he had held me back, I would have hurt him.
I wonder what it was like not having any children around. No, Wright wouldn't have liked a bird. Something that sang. Mrs. Wright used to sing real pretty herself. He killed that too.
We don't know who killed the bird.
I knew John Wright.
It was an awful thing done in this house. Sneaking up on a man and slipping a rope around his neck and choking the life out of him. We don't know who killed him. We don't know.
If there had been years and years of a bird to sing to you, and it'd be awful still after the bird was still.
I know what stillness is. When we homesteaded in Dakota, my first baby died before it was 2 years old, and me with no other then.
I wonder how they're getting evidence up there. How soon do you suppose it'll be done?
The law has got to punish crime, Mrs. Hale.
I wish you'd seen Minnie Foster when she wore a pretty white dress and wore blue ribbons and sang in the choir. I should have come over. It was a crime. It was a crime. Who is going to punish that?
You mustn't take on.
I don't think you should tell her about her fruit. Tell her it's all right. Take the seed to prove to her. Tell her it's all right. Tell her it ain't broke. She may never know.
Well, it's a good thing the men couldn't hear us. Imagine getting all stirred up like a little thing about a little thing, like a dead canary, as if that had anything to do with when they laugh.
Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't.
No, Peters, it's all perfectly clear except for the reason for doing it. There was, you know juries when it comes to women. If there was some definite thing, something to show, something to make a story about, I'm gonna stay here a little longer. You can send Frank out for me, can't you? I'm not satisfied that we can't do better.
Do you want to see what Mrs. Peters is going to take in?
No, I guess the things that the ladies have picked out aren't very dangerous. And for that matter, a sheriff's wife is married to law. Everything with that way, Miss Peters?
Not just that way.
Married to the law. I want you to come in here a second. We have to take a look at these windows.
Oh, windows!
We'll be right out, Mr. Hale.
Well, Henry, at least we figured out that she wasn't gonna quilt it. She was gonna... What was it you called the ladies?
We call it not it, Mr. Henderson.